Hello and welcome to Fixing South Sudan, your ideas for building the new nation. I am Madingor.
بلدي بلد كثير الخيرات فيه كل ثروات الزراعية والحيوانية والمعادن فكيف أكون جعان وكيف أكون عاريان وكيف أكون مرضان بدون دواء في بلدي الغنية.
This week on Fixing South Sudan, we focus on the commemoration of the 38th anniversary of the founding of the SPLM, Sudan People's Liberation Army Movement. Joining us in the program is Major General Daniel Abudhok Apikuach, Director of Archive and Museum, SSPDF, Army General Headquarters, Bilfarm. He is a teacher and a veteran of the War of Liberation. It's my pleasure to welcome him to this program. Welcome. How are you?
Thank you, Dingor.
So we are here to talk about the history of the People's Movement 1983 to 2021. That's been 38 years, and you have been at the center of it all. Just give me a brief background about when and how you joined the movement. Welcome.
I joined movement a long time ago, even before the formation of SPLA in 1983. We were already having underground. That is how we mobilize ourselves, organize ourselves in cells. Movement started a long time ago after the rebellions of the Akobo mutiny. That took place in 1975, February. Then in 1976, we started organizing ourselves. One day we were together. We used to discuss what is happening in our country. Now rebellion is start again. What will be our role as young men who are growing? It is time for us now to take up the lead, how to wage the movement of full liberation of South Sudan. We started. I remember Taban Dengai. That was in June 1986. He just told us, we used to discuss, he told us, let us go to Malakal Senior Secondary School. We went to Malakal Senior Secondary School. In secondary school, we were like number about 30-something young men. He said, Jamal, let us organize ourselves. The rebellion is started again. It is time for us now to reinforce those who left now for Bilfarm. So, if not, it is time for us to mobilize ourselves, have ourselves gone down to underground, how to counter any bad behavior of the government again towards South Sudanese citizens. That one, we organize ourselves in a movement called Land Honor Union. That was in 1986, Land Honor 76. Land Honor Union. So I was studying in Juba. I came to Juba carrying my own documents of movement, which is a manifesto saying that it is whoever can be a member of the movement is from 18 up to 35 years. So this was actually what we were doing.
Tell me about that underground movement. Who were the ringleaders? What was the agenda?
The agenda is to liberate South Sudanese. That was the agenda. Then automatically I got so many people like Jadala, like Grabe. We were together in the school together in those years. So we work until this paper when they spell out to elder people who are not 35 years. So I was approached by George McKer,
Benjamin, the late.
McKer Benjamin, and Eduardino. That was in 1977. They came to our school. I was a student in Juba Commercial. He asked me, hey, where is Daniel? I've been called out. I met them. We went to the house of a teacher called Costa. He was assistant director of our school. He said, that, Daniel, are you the one carrying this document? I said, yes, I am the one. Oh, very great. We need you, please. So we went and discussed what are the objective of this paper. Objective, of course, is liberation. And this name does not really fit into a liberation. Land Honor Union, what does it mean? If you are meaning that this thing is going to grow as a movement for liberation, Daniel, let us put M there. Movement must be there. So one day I was called, Daniel, we have a journey to the house of a very big person to meet today by Costa. Costa told me that let us go. You are wanted to be seen by elderly people. I said, okay. We went to Amarat. That house was the house of Zakaria Boldeng, a minister of health by then. He was a minister of health by then. He was in active service. He's a brother of Francis.
Also deceased.
Francis. So I got also Benjamin Bolakok, a former minister of agriculture, and some two big people. They asked me, Daniel, are you the one carrying this document? I said, yes, I'm the one. No, we are really happy. It is a good work. Daniel, you are doing, when did you start doing this underground? I told them that we started seeing rebellion of people of Akobo, Anyanyawan. So now we are enforcing them. Some of us have slept now with them in Ethiopia. So this is how they come. They say that, Daniel, let us change this. Let us change the name.
Who came up with the land honor and people?
Must be really interrogated. How can it grow if we don't really mention the facts? They told me, Daniel, let us change it into National Action Movement instead of Land Owners Union. So I said, yeah, this one is really convincing. We are building a nationalism. Of course, we are nationalists. If we want to liberate ourselves, we must have a movement there, like Nyanyawan was having SSL, South Sudan Liberation Movement. That's it. So we must have, I agreed for name to be changed. We change it into National Action Movement. And really we start mobilizing, start doing very tough underground work. We involve elderly people. I just interfere of how to integrate this elderly. We will not do this work alone without elder. 35 years with 18, they will not do work effectively. So even one day I quarreled with Taban, why do you change the name of movement when I gone back to Malakal? This is how.
And from there?
Changing this name, I gave a paper to one of the students I found in Malakal that under the name of National Action Movement, he went to Bantu recruiting. Then the paper I spelled out, those of security got it, and they arrested the guy. They said that, oh, there is who give you this paper is Daniel Abudhok, he is in Juba Commercial. I was wanted in 1977. And I got arrested in 1980, January, got arrested by these people. After I left, I visited so many schools like Umbili, I recruited girls there, secondary school and institute. That was in 1979. I went to Rumbek also, do the same work. I spent some days, Busri, Tony, Technical School and Institute, all this. I was really moving to Loka, to all these schools.
You were mobilizing.
I'm mobilizing students, telling them that you in holidays, you should go to Murahat, telling them that, tell these youth that the war is imminent. It is time for us now to liberate the country. Tell these youth who are in Murahat. You see, we have an idea why Anyanyawan failed. It failed because they were not organized before. In my recruitment, I used to say that it is not all of us who will take up the arm. There will be people who will take up the arm. There will be people who will give information. People will be engaged all. Nobody will not have a job in what we are doing. If you remain behind, you will automatically have a work how to inform us about the activities of the enemy and everything. This is where we can defeat the enemy. If all of us have a work. Of course, war has got a particular people who can fight.
Did you organize yourself so that you had a leadership, or was it just a volunteer operation?
I, being a student, I'm dealing with the students. An army officer, like Salfa and Arab, they are also dealing with their own. Any group has got their own leaders. For example, I was also a leader of the students. Mediator between the student and these elderly people, this was my work. So those of police officers, they know themselves. Those of army also, they have their own activities. Everyone has got his own what to do.
And then how did the now transition to the SPLA?
NAM, okay. NAM, actually, it is the NAM who actually the SPLA, SPLM. It is a NAM who tend to be SPLA, SPLM.
Tell us about that process.
You see, when we got arrested in 1980, four of us, we were going to Ethiopia after I visit all the senior secondary school. We made a meeting. That was in June. The student, they told me that, Daniel, you better go to Ethiopia. When you reach Bilfam, we will automatically follow you. So it is time now. By then we have what is called school games being conducted in Khartoum. All the students, they used to come and make a school competition in Juba. So I've told them that during the school competition, each member of underground must come to Juba here, so that we make a sort of conference. So we went, four of us, 3 students decided that to go with me. They said that we will not leave Daniel alone.
Who were they?
Somebody from Busri called Atem Digak. He is now a Director General in Agriculture, Ministry of Agriculture in Bor. Somebody called Joseph Mach. He is also my colleague in Juba Commercial by then. He is now working in finance as a Director of his stores. Somebody called Abram, Roland Abram. He was a former advisor, security advisor of Kalamanwani, Kanga. I got him. He's alive. 4 of them now are alive. I went to Forest and Mike followed me, but Atem remained.
This is when? When did they convince you that you should first go to the bush and then the rest will follow?
Oh, that was in December 1997, 79. Not 79, not
1983?
Not 79. 79 almost, December, after when I visit all this school. That was in 79. That was in December 79. Yeah.
And when you said you went to the bush, you went towards Ethiopia?
No, I went through here to Juba, from Juba to Malakal. I went from Juba to Malakal, Malakal to, there is a place called Olang. This is the route we use always to go through Olang. Olang is nearer to Nasser. This is the route people use to escape. So we see this route is better than going through Kopoita. We don't know this Kopoita, but we know the real route. And that's why they say that you go through Malakal, Malakal to Olang, Olang to Bilfam. So 4 of us, we decided to go. And then we took something to 15 days in Malakal, also mobilizing some students who will also have an idea to go. We got Malakal scenery is also at mess. We sent leaflet before we reach Malakal. So Malakal, with those of security, was really in trouble. They say, oh, these people are the one who brought this crisis in this school. We were accused of doing that. After 15 days, we got arrested by security men before we left Malakal.
So you did not go to the bush?
No,
You were arrested?
In 19, we were arrested, 4 of us, by national security. You will follow me. That Daniel is not in Juba. Daniel now maybe is somewhere. So I was taken to army jail. These 3 of mine, my colleagues, they have been taken into civilian jail. So in army cell, in army jail, those who investigated me are MI, military intelligence officer, who is the senior. That was Arok Tonarok, and deputized by our current president, Salva Kiir Mayardit. This is where I came to know them. I came to know them when I was already under detention.
And from there, we go forward. Then the ignition happened in 1983. And tell me how now became the SPLM.
You see, those of security, they really discovered a lot of secret papers. We are going to take them to Mangistu, Manifesto, and Constitution of National Action Movement. They there got arrested with me together. Now, Arok told me that, Daniel, this paper is belonging to you. After they investigated once, they investigated me twice. The second investigation, they told her, Daniel, your colleague have already told us that these people, personnel, security personnel, that you are going to forest. Tell us, don't try to dodge and everything. I told, yeah. You see, this movement of liberation started a long time ago, Arok, in 1955. Who started it? It is South Sudanese who started this movement. Have these South Sudanese achieved their objective?
After all that was done, how did you escape?
I escaped in 1983, December. This is how I really managed to.
By yourself or with a group?
Oh, with a group of people.
Okay.
With a group of people.
And now, at that point, you were trying to implement the agenda of going to the bush.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
No, we came with somebody called Marco Yusufai. He's dead now.
Marco
Yusufai. Marco Yusufai. He was a teacher. He's dead. Also, Moses Nyiker is now also dead. Nyang also is dead. Peter, none of them now, no one is really living. They died during the liberation.
Where were you going to?
We were, after when we took up arms, this fighting.
From Malakal, you escaped and you were now going?
To Bilfam.
Okay, what was the information that you got that made you to go to Bilfam?
But we know automatically the movement started. Those of Arab told us that you better now you go back to your school. Let us also organize ourselves because what you are doing is a national work. Yeah, I said that it is you are supposed to be in jail, not we youngsters to be in jail if you are not sleeping.
So they sympathize with you?
Yes, they say, no, Daniel, this thing is actually a national work you are doing. So you better go back to your school. Let us also organize ourselves. This is the reason of the rebellion. Since you already make a huge mobilization here in South Sudan, then who will be your officers? This is how they think that the movement is already well organized.
Tell me, in those early days, what did you find in Belfam? Who did you find? And what was your idea?
I was really enjoying my wishes. Now my dream has become true. I was the most happiest man.
When you left for Malakal and you went to Belfam, the movement was still not yet formed by then. Who did you find in Belfam? Who were you going to with your colleagues?
We were going to Dr. John. We knew already a movement has already been formed. Who is the leader? It is Dr. John Garang. Who is the leader? We are aware of what actually took place before. We were not sleeping.
Tell me about your experience in Belfam, in the liberation. Now we are commemorating 38 years anniversary. Time has gone. And it was a long time coming. And you have so many memories. What are your memories from the liberation?
What I really face in the movement, of course, in any movement there is no any clean movement. In any movement there is what is called power struggle. So in the movement I was arrested after I already fought. I was arrested in 1987 October with global numbers of officers.
Namely?
As people who are called themselves progressive officers. That progressive officers, name them. One of them is Dr. Ramon Wantuk.
These were the communists.
The former communist, Lado Gore, George McHale, Andrew Panchul, Maulana Aleo Kichak, he now died, Mujud, Joseph Malat Joseph, the Bordu Katolofi Gaba, Manyanga Kuch, the first pilot, Bordu Wasa, he died naturally.
What were you accused of?
We were accused that we are plotting to overthrow the leadership of the movement. We spent 5 years. We people of political wing, in fact, most of us, myself in jail, Udua got arrested. All these, the activists who used to be arrested by Nimeri, we were accused that we are a communist. One movement is a communist movement, in fact.
And so from that, you got out?
I spent 5 years in jail. Arrested in 87, released in 92 in Torit. We were arrested in General Headquarters in Bilfam. But again, we resumed, continuing the struggle, not to give up.
And
I was one of the OGI's officers, those who besieged Juba in 1982, 92.
What was the takeaway from your detention? You went with the intention of liberating your people, and then you ended up finding the contradiction that you ended up in jail. How did you react to that emotionally?
Well, being a revolutionary, you have to be ready for any eventualities. You can be accused wrongly, or you can do something which is, you cannot agree with the principle of those who are doing this. You can have an idea, you can be accused. Or somebody may fear me, Daniel, if I don't do this to Daniel, Daniel will do this. So, where people having hung, this is the institution where people fear themselves.
What was the basis of the accusation? And was there any evidence?
That these progressive officers, they organized themselves as a class within the movement. This was the accusation. Just a piece of paper. It does not even amount for people to be arrested.
And so what do you say about the 38th anniversary commemoration? What are we commemorating?
It is time for us to remember those who have fallen during the liberation. 38 years is not a short period, it's actually a long period. What have we achieved? Our achievement in 38 years. Are we now in peace? Let us evaluate our life now. 38 years in struggle. We are now still crying.
And in speaking about that, in this program, we speak of fixing South Sudan.
Yeah, there are people who are really fixing, and others are pulling.
When
not
people
who
were
are
going,
fixing South
when you were
Sudanese.
going to the bush, it was with the intention of bettering the conditions
Yes, so our
in your
people,
country. And there was an agenda. The agenda was to end the oppression and to ensure that there was justice for all, and the living conditions improve for everyone. what would you say now is the liberation agenda? There was a liberation agenda, and now you are evaluating that agenda. What would you say is the challenge facing that agenda?
There is a lot of challenge. You see, we're not going as the way really people suspect this country to be. There are others who are pulling it instead of fixing it. We have it. There are groups who are ready to destroy, and there are groups who are ready to fix. This is how countries live, you see. But regardless of all this, we will not, of course, give up not to continue fixing it.
What will it take to fix South Sudan?
Well,
what
if we come into attitude of
what
that,
will it take?
If we avoid tribalism,
what if
the only obstacle we have is tribalism. This tribalism has actually destroyed us a lot. If we don't come out clearly rejecting tribalism in this country will not even be stable. Really, these tribes of ours, let us talk. How many tribes in the world we have? We have only 2 tribes. If we don't believe in these 2 tribes, we have female and male. Female and male are only 2 tribes God created it. If we don't come back to that senses, if I kill a man, then I kill my own tribes. How do you look at it now? A human being is the same. For example, if a white man came to where man is and is a male, he will automatically join his own, knowing himself automatically by nature.
As a revolutionary, as a veteran teacher, you went to the bush 38 years ago. What would you say gives you the inspiration that your efforts were not in vain?
National anthem. We have a sovereignty. We have an independent army. We have a lot of things. We are a member of UN. We are already independent country, but it is we who fail how to manage it, you see. We are already free now.
But you are happy that your people are free, and that is one thing that makes you to sleep at night.
Yes, yes.
That you, with others, brought independence to South Sudan. Thank you very much for coming to Fixing South Sudan.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Meeting.